They built a whole system on you not knowing your worth. Today that changes. Stop asking, start doing. Take the leap, make the move, build the life. I'm Gabrielle Elisabeth, and this is the Audacity. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. So, today we are going to be talking about trusting your gut. And there are two things that nobody talks about whenever we're talking about ambition. Number one, how it costs way more than we realize at times to want to lead this ambitious life. I think the only person that's really talking about that right now is Emma Grede in her book, Start With Yourself. So that's new to the scene. But number two is you have to trust your gut more than the noise. You have to trust that internal voice that's telling you to just keep swimming, just keep swimming. You have to trust that voice because so many roadblocks are going to be in your vicinity. And if you don't trust that inner voice, you're going to see those things as roadblocks as opposed to like detours. Because it's okay if you have to take the scenic route. That is totally okay as long as you are walking in your purpose. I just watched the Michael Jackson movie not too long ago, and something that really stood out for me was the fact that he or there was a reference to letting your light shine. His mother says this to him, and that is a biblical reference. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Michael Jackson was an avid Jehovah's Witness, as we know. So his mother clearly knew the Bible and was sharing that with him. And that's actually something that I have in common with Michael Jackson. My mother would always tell me that I am a light, that I needed to let my light shine. So that's that little voice. That's walking in purpose. You can't help but have a glow about yourself when you're doing what you're meant to be doing, when you're following your calling. But it can come at a price, and it often does, especially when you're trying to be at the very top of whatever it is that you feel called to do. So within the Michael Jackson movie, there is a scene where Michael is asked to do a Pepsi commercial with his brothers. He does not want to do this. He wants to continue with his solo career and keep moving in that direction. Joe Jackson, as we know, is a massive bully in Michael Jackson's life, and he convinces Michael to do the commercial. Now, what happens? Michael Jackson catches on fire. And I think that that is a lesson for all of us that there is a cost. No matter which way you go, there's a cost if you want to pursue your dreams and have ambition and do the thing that is audacious and have audacity. And then there's also the cost for doing something that is not in alignment with your life. Either way, you're going to pay a price. And in this case, Michael Jackson paid the price of his scalp and he was set on fire. So to me, you might as well follow your dreams if either way I'm going to have to pay something. So in this episode, I want to talk to you all about 3 times that I trusted my gut and how that paid off for me. And also like the rocky moments in between because I'm not always the best at that. Sometimes I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but then I start asking everybody and their mother what I should be doing or what they think about it. And that just muddies the water. J. Cole talks about that. He talks about how the artist J. Cole, he talks about how you shouldn't tell people what your dreams are and what your plans are because they are going to put that energy towards that. And oftentimes it's going to push you down. And so let them just find out when it happens. You know what I mean? So three times that I followed my gut slash didn't. My locks. So I locked my hair about a year ago to the day today. And it was one of the hardest decisions that I ever had to make. I've wanted to lock my hair since I was in high school. People always used to think that my hair was great for locks because I have type 4 hair, but I was so nervous to do it because I thought all the negative things that are associated with locks, that they were going to smell bad, that my hair was going to be dirty. Like there were so many stereotypes that had been projected to me from media and from friends and family members that I took on as being the reality instead of actually doing research for myself and seeing if it was a good fit for me. So fast forward, let's say 5 years from high school, I'm in my Broadway show. I learned to embrace my natural hair. I'm loving on it. I'm learning how to take care of it. I'm doing great. Fast forward another 5 years, I'm back in New York City after being gone for a spell. And I reconnect with Zach, and his sister has locks. And I'm like, those are cute. They look so chic. Then I see a girl that's in my show. She has locks. I'm like, man, those look so great. And I tell my best friend at the time that I wanted to get locks. And she was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to regret it. You're going to be making a bad choice. You're going to get sick of them, X, Y, and Z. Now, I do think that this was coming from a good place. I don't think she was trying to hurt me or damper my excitement. I think she was trying to protect me. But what's so interesting about that is although she saw that as protection, it was deflection for me. And it was really something that I wanted to do and I knew it was right for me and I couldn't be happier now. But at the time I was like, nope, she's right. She's right. And I waited another year and a half, 2 years to lock my hair. So now my hair is to here, but it could have been to here. Okay. And people always say that the worst thing about locks is not starting sooner. And I couldn't agree more. I am so happy with my hair. I've never loved myself and my natural beauty so much more than I do now. I feel beautiful. I feel stunning. Of course, I still have bad hair days sometimes. Everybody does. But I am just over the moon with my choice and know that locks are the right decision for me. Another moment that I followed my gut was when I moved to New York City. So I went to a small school in rural Georgia, and my professors, well, I got a double major in English and theater because I was going to be a lawyer. That didn't work out. So now here I am. I made the choice to pursue performing arts full time, and that is my career. But my professor at the time told me, when I told her that my dream was to be on Broadway and to move to New York City, she told me not to do it. She said that real actors don't need to be on Broadway. It's too commercialized. You should focus on doing stuff more local, X, Y, and Z, da, da, da. Needless to say, I didn't listen. I went to do theme parks right out of college. I went to a festival called SETC, and I got like 18 callbacks for all these different theaters. And I decided to go and work for Dollywood. And that was my first job right out of school. And from there, I made a connection and I ended up working for Disney. I got my equity card and I told the people at Disney that I was going to be moving to New York City and I was going to be on Broadway. And they said, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what everybody says. And they always end up right back here. You'll be back. You see what I mean? Now, I left anyway. I moved to New York City and I did end up making my Broadway debut in under a year. So, jokes on them. But why I didn't need all that negative energy. I didn't need these people putting their fears disguised as advice on to me. I could have just made that choice without any of that drama. You know what I'm saying? Because especially when you're young, that is the time to be making risks. That is the time where you should be audacious and have audacity, even more so than when you're older. It's like when you invest money when you're starting out investing and you're young, you can have higher risk, which reaps a higher return, but also could reap a bigger loss. But you're able to take on more risk because you have so much longer in your life, God willing, to invest and have better investments moving forward. But when you're older, they tell you to get in what's tried and true, honey. Don't do anything crazy. Don't invest in a startup. Stick with what you know so that you know you're going to have this money for your retirement. Now, when you're in your 20s, that is the time to move to New York City and fall flat on your face, maybe. But maybe, just maybe, your gut was right and you succeed. And that was the case for me. And then the third moment that I had audacity and bet on myself and trusted my gut, ta-da, it's right now. It's starting this podcast. I did this in a rush. I was not prepared. I didn't have people set up for interviews. I didn't have anything recorded. I didn't have a plan for when I was going to be filming content. I had no type of plan. But you know what? I had the idea, and then 7 days later, I decided to execute it because I was tired of waiting. I was tired of procrastinating and having all these big ideas and not acting on them. So I was like, hey, I might fall flat on my face. This might not work out. People might not listen, but I'm going to do it anyway because I feel called to do it. And I'm going to listen. I'm going to be obedient and do what my gut and what my light is telling me to do. You see what I did there? Yeah, yeah. So here I am. Those are moments that I was audacious. Those are moments where I trusted my gut. And honestly, it's never a wrong choice to bet on yourself. So now let's talk about the cost. To have an ambitious life means that you're going to have to sacrifice something. And for me, that means sacrificing time with my loved ones. That means not having children yet because it doesn't align with where my goals are headed. And that, honestly, that's one that hurts me a lot because I'm in my 30s. I've wanted a child since my 20s, and my life didn't turn out the way that I thought. I thought I was with my forever person, and turns out that my forever person is who I'm with now, and we have plans for that. But things, wonderful things are happening in my life right now that are not allowing me to take that step. And that's one of the costs. There's also not having a stable 9 to 5 income because I decide to live an artist's life. And that comes with it being harder to plan vacations and for my future in terms of my retirement. These are costs that I willingly make because I know that I'm going to reap dividends down the line, and I'll be able to provide for my family and show my family just how much and how worth it is to follow your dreams, because I want my children to do that. I want them to be able to have audacity and to be brave enough to take the risk as opposed to playing it safe all the time. I mean, and look, if you want to play it safe, that's up to you. I'm not saying you'll have a bad life, but what if you could have a better one? Just saying. So, something else that people don't talk about is when you do, because you're living this grand life, this audacious life, and you're taking risks and you're going and shooting for the stars, that means that the fall is a little further when you don't succeed because there will be losses. But keep this in mind. If it doesn't stay, if that thing that you're holding onto so tightly decides that it's going to go a different direction, number one, that does not mean that you aren't worth it or worthy. That does not mean that another opportunity won't come. Because if something's truly for you, it's never going to pass you. It's never going to pass you. I believe that fervently. And a moment I had to test that that belief inside of me was when I was supposed to transfer with a show that I did out of town, because all Broadway shows have out of town, not all, most Broadway shows have out of town tryouts. And I was understudying the lead, and I was like, finally, I get to make my principal debut. This is incredible. I'm so happy. I'm coming out of my divorce, or it was the beginning of my divorce. And I was like, I was so sad, but look at God. So much is coming for me. And then they decide to change the tracking of the understudy and made it a swing, and didn't think that I was right for that position. And my contract was terminated. And when that happened, devastated. I was devastated. And it wasn't just about the fact that I wasn't going to get to be back on Broadway. It was also because I was already dealing with issues of self-worth, and that just validated that I wasn't worthy or worth anything. That's what I believed. I had panic attacks. I was deeply, deeply, deep in despair. I was so sad. But thank God for my partner, Zach, who really lifted me up in that time, because I thought I was just doing the wrong thing. I was like, clearly this isn't for me. That time I made my Broadway debut was just a one-off, blah, 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 blah. But again, we have to remember that what's for us will not pass us by. That wasn't for me. That was for somebody else. And, I did not go see the show, and that was for self-preservation, but I did congratulate all of my friends that got to transfer with it. And I supported them in the best way that I could, but it hurt. It hurt a lot. And it happens to more people than you know. Um, and people suffer in silence and think that they're the only ones. And a lot of times it makes people quit. I'm really thankful that it didn't make me quit because I wouldn't have the opportunities that I have now. And thank God for friends, for loved ones who remind you of who you are. Like my girls, my girl gang, I love my girl gang. They pour into me in the best ways. And we don't talk all the time. And that's okay with me because honestly, I'm so busy and it makes me really happy that they are too. But when we do finally get to spend time together, it's like no time has passed. And when I was going through this culmination of divorce and being let go from a show, the way that they showed up for me, and I didn't even ask, the way that they showed up for me really, really, really changed everything. They reminded me that I was worthy of love, worthy of opportunity, worthy of success, and I will be forever grateful to them. So make sure you're building your community. We're not we're not meant to live this world solo. We are pack animals. So get yourself some friends and don't be a butthole. So I wrote out some questions that are going to help you build trust with yourself to allow you to be able to trust that inner voice inside of you. So I want you to use this before you let someone else's voice, all that noise, get you to change your mind and not trust your instincts. So number one, is this person living the life I want? Because if they're not even living, if they're not living the life that you even want to mirror, why would you take advice from them? It's like asking the person who is like forever single relationship advice. Maybe ask the person that's been married for 20 years. Just saying. Number two, is this their fear or my reality? Is this their fear or my reality? So that makes me think about, I talk about my best friend all the time. I love her. This makes me think about her because she would talk about how when she first moved to New York City, her parents were so nervous for her and they would tell her all these bad things that were going to happen and send her all these articles about people being kidnapped and taken advantage of. And she was like, that's not my story. That's not my story. That's not my reality. Those are your fears that you're projecting onto me. And if I take that in, those things very well might happen to me because you know what? What you focus on, you get more of. So focus on good, accept the good of life, and maybe, just maybe, you'll get more of that. All right. Number three, what would I do if no one was watching? That answer is almost always the truth. That answer is almost always the light that you're supposed to be shining into this world. Because that's who we are. Who we are in private is really the person that we are. And I hope that you get to find a way to mix the two so that you're not playing this dual reality because you should be able to show up as your full self. Now, hear me out. I do think that decorum is important. So make sure you're finding a nice balance of that. But you shouldn't be stuck in a job or in a life that is deadening your spirit. You should be living the life of your dreams because why can't you? You're the only person standing in your way. So have audacity and kick down the door. You know, our gut doesn't speak in paragraphs. It speaks in a tiny little voice. A tiny little voice that we need to get quiet in order to be able to hear it. We have to really center ourselves, meditate, pray, wake up earlier in the morning when the world hasn't started yet, and really get to know yourself and listen to yourself so that you can know what it is you're meant and called to do in this life. And that's exciting. Let's get excited about that. So this week, I want you to write down the life of your dreams. Don't censor it. Don't put logic into it. Write down everything that you want, what it feels like, what it smells like, what it tastes like, what it looks like. I want you to be as clear as day. I should be able to feel like I can walk into that scene by the time you finish it. And I want you to just sit with it and put it on your nightstand, put it under your pillow, put it anywhere that you're going to have to see it repeatedly so that you can start actualizing those dreams and feeling it and seeing it as a reality, because it has to start here and here first. And then you can start projecting it outward. But first, you have to believe that it's possible. All right, guys, that's our time for today. I will see you all next Wednesday. And remember, permission is not required. Love you guys. Bye.